Welcome, everyone.
What would you do if you had my life? Work like me, had them stripes. Would you go hard just to have that ice? But I'm just fair trying to have that price. Get a yo cooking about to add that spice. Nowadays dudes never had that fight. When it push bill, better burst your pipes.
The Tennis Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN app. Get all of our free picks and podcasts in one of these locations. Check out the SGPN app, once again, free to download in the App Store. And welcome, everyone, to the Tennis Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Currently Saturday afternoon, May 16th, around 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Scott Reichel, going solo for this pod. Time to break down the final match in Rome, the title match taking place on Sunday between Sinner and Ruud. You can break down that match in a few minutes. Before we get into the preview of the title match on Sunday, a reminder, support the channel. Like, subscribing on YouTube, and a reminder, find the podcast as well on Spotify or Apple. And when you do so, leave your rating and a review. Plus, a reminder, check out the merch store. A lot of great tennis merchandise that we have there. We have sweatshirts, we have t-shirts, we have mugs. We also have hats now, different colors, very affordable. Think you like the options that we have. So once again, check out the merchandise on the SGPN merch store. And last but not least, check out the great deal that we have right now with Naira Bets, because the Preakness is happening today. Make sure to check out the Preakness preview on SGPN and claim your free $25 Preakness bet plus $200 deposit match for the members at NairaBets.com/SGPN25. Once again, NairaBets.com/SGPN25. So moving on into the recap of what happened for the semis. Unfortunately, the event has been just horrible for us, or really nothing else to say. Luckily, Medvedev did win the quarter at 8-1, which kind of salvaged everything. But we have not been good on the lock and dog picks, and it is what it is. But for the lock, we ended up doubling down with Sinner, and it didn't work out. We had Sinner minus 5.5 games at minus 107. He looked great early. He buried Medvedev 6-2 in the first set. Looked like we were going to roll, and then he fell apart in the second set, and then he eventually did win the third, but didn't win by enough, so picked up a loss there, as he only won by 5 games, or he won by 4 games, instead. But either way, once again, didn't work out. Picked up a loss there for the lock. For the dog, we doubled down. We had Medvedev team total under. Looked great early. Once again, Sinner won the first set 6-2. And you figured, okay, here's going to be another rinse and repeat Sinner destruction. Didn't happen. Props to Medvedev. He played well, and he was able to make the match competitive. But we doubled down on Sinner, who had won, I think it was 31 or 32 straight Masters 1000 events matches in a row. And he won again, but unfortunately did not win by enough, which has kind of been a common theme for us in the event so far, which has been picking the right player to win, but not picking the right margin of victory. So either way, picked up a loss for the lock and dog, as Sinner won, but he looked vulnerable for the first time in about, 2-3 months. But either way, picked up a loss there for the lock and dog. For the recap, though, the semis, we had one drama-filled match and one straightforward match. And it was, I'd say it was the opposite order of what you might have expected, because I think most people thought Sinner was going to destroy Medvedev. I know I did. And instead, that turned out to be the absolute war. And Ruud ended up destroying Darderi in a match that was a complete waste of time. A double breadstick, as Ruud did win 6-1, 6-1. It was ugly, and it was very straightforward. Ruud was up once again early. Darderi ended up holding in the let me just figure it out. Yeah, he ended up breaking, actually. So Darderi never held serve in the entire first set, which tells you just how sharp Ruud has been so far in the event. But Darderi got his first hold of the match in the 0-4 game in the second set. One hold the entire match. Darderi got absolutely destroyed. Ruud, we know, has been playing great tennis. He did drop a set to Kashanov after the rain delay in the round prior. But besides that, he has been on the warpath, and he showed it once again. Darderi, great run to the semis, but damn, he flamed out quickly because that match was over in a pretty short period of time. The match took a total of an hour and 5 minutes. So once again, Rude had, I guess, dinner plans and decided to end it as quickly as possible. But Darderi got destroyed and Rude advanced easily into the final. For the other match, this of course was the drama-filled match, which was the Sinner and Medvedev match. Now, unfortunately, there was a rain delay, which kind of sabotaged the actual flow into the late stages of the match. Sinner was up a break, though, already in the third set, but still, anytime you have a drama-filled match in the third and it gets delayed till the next day, it does kind of kill the hype around it, but still a fun match. Sinner once again won the first set 6-2, went down a break immediately in the second set, had some physical issues, then he broke back, but Medvedev did eventually get the break to win the second set 7-5, and then Sinner broke early into the third set, and he held on to win 6-4. So very fun match. Went down to the wire. Medvedev, we know, has been really bad on clay over the years, except in Rome. A former champion, he took Sinner to the brink on, once again, Friday and Saturday, and good for him for putting together a good effort. But for us, once again, Sinner just no-showed the second set early on and was not able to recover. Did recover in the third, but either way, once again, didn't work out for the lock and dog picks. But overall, the Sinner match was definitely high quality. Medvedev did raise his level dramatically in the second set. Sinner was winning almost every single service point in the first set, and Medvedev did a great job of making the match physical, forcing Sinner's body to partially break down in that second set. And unfortunately for Medvedev, he fell a bit short. But he has given Sinner more of a scare than anybody else over the last 2-3 months. So nice job, Medvedev. But either way, Sinner once again advances. He looked fine when they continued the match on Saturday. So I didn't see any lingering effects of either the injury or the fatigue that we saw on Friday. So he should be fine in the final. But either way, once again, Sinner let us down, is what it is. And we'll try to bounce back here for a much better episode for the final. Now, for the other events going on right now, of course, you have the women's event taking place in Rome as well. And for the Rome event, I will point out that Goff and Svitolina are playing right now. Svitolina's up a set, so we'll see if she ends up closing it out. But either way, once again, the women's final is actually happening right now. Not the matchup people thought we were going to get between Goff and Svitolina. I think most people thought we were going to get Sabalenka and probably Swiatek in some capacity. But either way, once again, the event has been drama-filled on the women's side. For the men's side, look, Sinner getting tested was cool for the sake of drama, but it's still Sinner in the final, and he's still a massive favorite. So nothing really too shocking. But the fact that Medvedev almost beat Sinner, and that was the, oh my God, what is happening moment, tells you how good Sinner has been lately. Because Sinner won the match, and he might win the event, massive favorite too, and yet that was the story. Sinner almost losing, not losing. That's how dominant he's been for the last couple months. Props to Medvedev, though, once again played well, but either way, once again, did not work out for us. So we'll try to bounce back here in the final. Thinking of other news worth talking about, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the previous episode, but Musetti ended up dropping out of the French Open as he just can't stay healthy. Unfortunate, but once again, he's had a pretty down year. But once again, Musetti, who we know has been a semifinalist before in the French Open, will not be able to attend, which is unfortunate. But once again, we'll see what happens. But that was one of the main storylines, which was, of course, Musetti, who ended up getting destroyed by Rude earlier in this event. And now he has to sit out. I believe Draper is sitting out as well, so going to be a little bit shorthanded by comparison. But either way, once again, Musetti, who made the semis last year, will no longer be playing in the French Open for this upcoming year. So keep that in mind. We have 2 events coming up next week. Then we have the French Open, and Musetti will not be there. Anyway, that's going to recap the overall semis. Time to move on into the preview of the title match between Rude and Sinner on Sunday. Before we get into that match preview, reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, Bracco, which is a new sportsman casino sponsor. Tons of great ways to get on the action. They've been covered for all the major sports, offering over 100,000 sports markets a month. Bracco's available in a ton of states. Wednesdays are for blackjack. Play blackjack on Wednesdays. Get half of your losses back. Depositing, withdrawing is very easy. Money in, money out. Lightning fast, bank, Apple Pay, even crypto. And for the sign-up deal on Saturday, a reminder, Casino Fight Night. Play $25 on UFC and get 50 free spins on After Night Falls 2. So they have great, once again, promos every single day. Check it out there on Bracco. And a reminder, get a free $5 and purchase match up to $100 when you use the code SGPN at Bracco. That's Bracco, BRACCO, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Kalshi, a real money prediction market available, ton of states. Check it out for tennis and all the other sports you can think of. Kalshi does have a wide variety of sports options for trading. And a reminder, new customers get $10 when they sign up with the code SGPN. Check out Kalshi, promo code SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the Tennis Game Podcast. Finish recapping what happened in the semis. Time to move on into the preview of the title match taking place on Sunday. So for this one, we have Sinner, of course, taking on Ruud. Sinner is a massive favorite, to nobody's surprise, as Sinner is about minus 770. I see Ruud at around plus 510. For the spread, I see 5.5 games for Sinner, or a juiced 4.5. For the over-under, I see 20.5 juice there towards the under. Straight sets is around minus 230 for Sinner. The over 2.5 sets is plus 230. The tie break is plus 215. For the team total, I see 12.5 games for Sinner, which is an under at minus 134. The over is plus 102. For Ruud, I see 7.5. The under is plus 104. The over is minus 134. So for this matchup, they faced off last year in Rome, and it was a match to forget for Ruud because he won one damn game in the entire match last year. 6-0, 6-1. It was an absolute just destruction. Sinner did not face a break point. It was ugly. Sinner won, I believe it was 78% of his first serve points and 70% of his second serve points. So once again, Sinner just absolutely demolished him. Ruud won 19% of his second serve points. Now, Ruud has been amazing so far in this version of the event this year because Ruud, of course, has only dropped one set, beat Svaja, beat Leheshka, beat Musetti, who might have been injured in hindsight. Beat Kashanov in 3, should have been straight sets, but the rain delay caused him to kind of fall apart there for about 20 minutes. And then he beat Darderi, only dropping 2 games in the entire match. For Sinner, though, he was cruising early in the event, beat Offner, beat Popperin, beat Pellegrino, beat Rublev, all in straight sets. Not the greatest competition. Then played Medvedev, and he won in 3. So, yes, Sinner did get tested in the last match, but Sinner, once again, has been winning every match pretty handily with the exception of one. Now you have an argument on your hands, which first of all involves Sinner's conditioning and fitness. He seemed fine when they continued the match on Saturday. Now he's off again. He didn't play long on Saturday. So I think you're looking at a spot where you're looking at the, once again, opportunity for Sinner to either bounce back or for the opportunity for Sinner to look underwhelming physically, and maybe it's a golden opportunity for Ruud to actually keep this match close. Now, look, I understand that Sinner, once again, was a bit shaky in the last set and a half or so against Medvedev, but we know Medvedev was in great form, former champion of the event. I do think Ruud might keep this match close early, but Sinner's owned the head-to-head. Sinner's 4-0 in the head-to-head. The only clay meeting Sinner won here, only dropping one game last year. It's been very lopsided. Ruud, just for reference, has never won a set against Sinner in the 4 meetings. And on top of that, Sinner has never lost more than, well, I'll put it this way. In the last 3 matches, Sinner has never lost more than 8 games against Ruud. So Ruud has really not been close in any of the 3 meetings. And the question is, can Ruud keep the form afloat, or will Sinner just overpower him and bully him across the court? I think it's a good buy low spot on Sinner, actually. I mean, Sinner was rolling, and we had him to win the entire tournament, not dropping a set. Of course, that went up in flames, but he was definitely on pace to dominate the entire tournament. And now it feels like people are starting to waver on Sinner. When in doubt, I just keep picking Sinner. And yes, it didn't work out in the semis, but normally it has worked out. We saw him in the title match in Madrid. He barely lost any games to Zverev. I think Ruud, once again, will play well. He's beating good competition, but Sinner is a level above everybody else on tour right now. I think it's a pretty good buy low spot on Sinner. You can get 4.5 games at like minus 140, and I do think it's a pretty decent option. I understand that Ruud, once again, has been playing very well in the event, but Sinner's own the head-to-head. Ruud's shot selection can still be problematic, and I think that Sinner will showcase the aggression and showcase the firepower to keep Ruud off balance, keep Ruud playing defensively, not to mention the fact that Ruud's second serve, once again, was absolute fish food for Sinner in the last meeting. Ruud wasn't in bad form entering that matchup last year, so it wasn't like he caught Ruud at a bad time. Sinner just showed up and dominated, and Sinner, that was immediately post-suspension, and he didn't look as dialed in as normal, and he still was able to put together a great match against Ruud. I think he gets back on track here. I think he wins comfortably. 4.5 for Sinner, I think, is a pretty cheap number, actually. I think it's pretty low. You could argue that he might end up blowing him out, or Ruud maybe keeps one set close. But I question mentally, if Ruud is 0-4 lifetime, never winning a set, and Ruud loses the first set in a competitive fashion, Does a part of him kind of roll over the second he falls down a break into the second set? Maybe, but I think that Sinner's going to end up winning. I think I'm going to go with the buy low spot on Sinner here, who's easily been the best player in the world. He hasn't lost a match in basically 3 months. I'm not going to suddenly pivot and take Ruud here. I think Ruud is going to be a popular choice based on what we saw with the eye test in the semis. But Sinner had to play for a couple of minutes on Saturday, not too long. He looked fine, and now he's off for the rest of the day entering the final. So I think Sinner should look fine physically. Ruud, yes, he was able to kill Darderi. Impressive, but I think that Sinner's still a different challenge, and I think that Sinner's going to win this match, I'd say somewhat comfortably. I'm going to go for like a 6-3, 6-3 type outcome. But 4.5, I think, is pretty generous when you're looking at Sinner, who has been beating everybody in straight sets, with the exception of Medvedev in the last round. I'll go with the buy low spot on Sinner. I think he looks sharp, and I think he bounces back here. Home crowd, too, being in, of course, Italy. I think they'll help him out. So give me Sinner to cover the spread, and I'll go for Sinner to win this match comfortably as my pick for this matchup. For the total, though, I will go with the under. Once again, 6-3, 6-3. I think it's a pretty decent option. I think that Sinner's going to be able to frustrate Ruud with his return game, and I think that Ruud will be able to maybe find a couple of moments, but not enough. I'd say few and far between to keep this match truly close. If Sinner does show issues physically, like we saw against Medvedev, then Ruud definitely can keep this match close. He's played well enough, but the fact is Medvedev, we know, keeps the match very physical. I think Ruud's shot selection can still be extremely problematic, and I do think that Medvedev is, in my opinion, better equipped to handle the serve of Sinner by comparison to Ruud. I think Ruud will struggle to find many breakpoint opportunities, and I see Sinner once again winning and covering, but a classic Sinner tale for me in a final, which is Sinner winning comfortably. I'm going to consider the semifinal matchup a bit of a blip on what has been a very, I'd say, smooth past couple of months for Sinner. And he still won. He's won, I think, like 32 straight Masters 1000 matches, which is the all-time record. I'm not going to pick him to lose now. Give me Sinner to win in straight sets and to win comfortably as my picks here for the title match on Sunday. And we're going to wrap it up for the preview of the Ruud and Sinner match. Time to move on into the lock and dog picks. So before we get into the lock and dog, a reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. They have pick-em entries for almost every sport. Check them out for the increased payouts. 2-pick entries and a 3.5x, 3-pick entries and a 6.5x. And if you're new to the platform, great sign-up deal. New customers play $5.50 in bonus funds when you sign up at Underdog Fantasy with the promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, official data tool for dominating the NBA, MLB, WNBA, and golf. Check out the house models or build your own from scratch to help dominate the books. And a reminder, they have a free trial for a week. Check out Rhythm. Once again, use the actual free trial to see what the fuss is all about, experiment with models, see how much you like it, but get a free 7 days when you check out Rhythm right now. And a reminder that you can use the promo code SGPN25 to go premium with the platform when you download the app for a quarter off first month. Check out Rhythm code SGPN25 for a discount courtesy of Rhythm. Welcome back, everyone, to the Tennis Game Podcast. Finished going through the preview of the final on Sunday between Ruud and Sinner. Time to move on into the lock and dog picks. So for the lock, I'm going to go with Sinner minus 4.5 games at minus 140. Good number that I think, once again, is a little bit too cheap. Yes, Ruud has been quite good lately, but Sinner has covered this number in 10 of his last 11. He's been winning by margin more often than not, and Sinner is also 4 in a lifetime against Ruud. They played here last year, and Ruud won 1 game in the entire match. Think Ruud will play better than that, but Sinner, just with his overall firepower and his consistency, is a bad matchup for Ruud. We know Ruud has a very deep return position, showcases topspin. The shot selection can be problematic, but the second serve is definitely weak, and I think Sinner will be able to take control of a bunch of points. We know Ruud does like to be a bit more aggressive than, I'd say, most guys his size. A lot of firepower on the forehand side. But Sinner, we know, is more firepower than anybody on the entire tour. I think he'll be able to force Ruud into playing defensively, which is not what he wants to do. And I think Sinner should be pretty comfortable controlling most of the points in this matchup. But I see a good matchup here for Sinner. Give me Sinner minus 4.5 games as my lock for the show. For the dog, we're going to try it once again. It did not work out in the semis. We're going to go with Ruud team total under 7.5 at plus 104. Sinner's opponents have gone under this number in 6 of his last 7 matches. I know, of course, the one exception was Medvedev in the semis, but Sinner has been winning comfortably more often than not, and I do think that he has the game to really annoy Ruud over the course of these 2 sets. Ruud, though, has won less than 8 games in each of the last 3 meetings. Once again, he lost 6-0, 6-1 against Sinner in Rome last year. I think that Sinner will bounce back from the slight hiccup that he had in the semis, but I think that you're getting a good deal on Ruud. It's a good buy. I mean, it's a good deal fading Ruud. I think you're getting a good buy low opportunity on Sinner. I'm going to go for it. Yes, I know the event's been quite bad for us, but I think you're looking at a spot where Sinner will be able to once again look comfortable. And if Ruud ends up falling behind a break early, do I think he will mentally lock in? I don't think so. I know that I see a comment here from Matt saying that he's locked into Geneva potentially. Look, at the end of the day, we know Ruud is going to, of course, be focused on winning the 1,000 event, but we also know he's won Geneva 3 times, and he also has the reputation of being Mr. 250. So we'll see if Ruud ends up losing this and winning Geneva, which I think is the most likely outcome here, unless Ruud decides to skip Geneva entirely in prep for the French Open. But I see a bad matchup for Ruud. Give me Sinner to win once again, and to win by margin as my picks for the lock and dog. So once again, the lock's going to be on Sinner, minus 4.5 games, minus 140. For the dog, Ruud team total under 7.5 at plus 104. Going to wrap it up with the show. Back once again for the outright match for the outrights of Geneva and Hamburg. So we're going to break that down in the next once again episode. Maybe later today. Depends on when the actual odds drop. The events do start tomorrow, but normally you have a pretty underwhelming slate on the first day. So we'll see if we end up getting the lines early or if we have to wait until after the Monday matches end. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. So once again, keep that in mind. But next episode, previewing the 2 events that are happening right before the French Open. But either way, once again, to wrap it up for a Rome, and back once again either tonight or tomorrow. Till next time, support the channel, like, subscribe, leave a rating and review on Spotify or Apple, and find me on Twitter, Reichel Radio. Good luck to all of you and all